recently Beyonce had to edit out the word spaz out of her song Heated because, you know, I guess it's a derogatory, it's ableist, but specifically in the UK.
No, it's ableist everywhere. It's just people in the UK speaking out about it.
Okay. But like it has a different.
Nothing is based in
I feel like
regions,
somebody in
bro.
her camp probably definitely told her that before it came out. There's no way.
But
perhaps
on her level,
nah, actually, you're right. Definitely, that definitely happened.
On
Especially
her
because
level,
Lizzo had just done it like the month before.
Yeah, Lizzo had done it a month ago.
So she still chose to drop it. Her going back to switch it is just
had
some
to see if there
bullshit.
was going to be
literally-
backlash. Just had to see.
She shouldn't switch
Could
it,
I
bro.
slide?
That's
I'm Queen
bad
Bee.
for the artistry. No bullshit.
yeah, if I'm not
It's
mistaken,
like
I
once
believe
you did it, yo, it's stamped. Like you chose to drop that shit. You
That's
know,
what I'm
you
saying.
know,
Art is
saying
supposed
on
to be
it.
controversial, is it not?
it's supposed to
not
be
even on that
provocative.
sense, but it's like, bro, you know, you like. You recorded a song, you know. Even if you didn't, you learn from it after. It's like, boom. Why you trying to
Technically, Drake wrote it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That song was meant to be provocative.
Nigga,
So
Drake, bro.
for her saying some shit like, you feel me?
Load up the Drake.
You feel me? Her saying some shit that is like sparking conversation is just like, I feel like that's just Beyonce being Beyonce, and I feel like she's kind of conforming to the times. But then again, to the point, shameless plug, not safe for work. Like this shit is not safe. She's not safe to do her job and express herself as an artist. And that line, obviously, because she's has a whole bunch of writers around her. They definitely could have found something to fill it in.
Yeah.
But that was the best way. That was the best way to execute the delivery for that part of the record. And she's
It's not
now
the best way, but
Niggas
that's how
need
she
to
chose.
download
That's
the
how,
original version of that and drop it as an NFT, nigga.
like would it?
Like
Would
that's
it?
not gonna be available no more.
You said it's not the best version. So what would you like?
I mean, not to say it's the best. Like I
There's
just like
always
there's other
alternatives,
ways
yeah,
you
there's
could go
always
about it, but that's
alternatives.
just how she chose to. So I'm not gonna knock it either. I think.
Fact, it was a
I'm
choice.
listening to the record. I don't really see any alternative for another word that you can put there and say to make that
What
line.
was the specific line?
I mean, I don't really. I don't.
That's
Like, I know
crazy.
the line, but I don't just be word for
feel
word
you,
in
I feel
Beyonce. But
I've
like,
been running that song up too much. I'm not
I
gonna lie.
think the reality
I get a
is
lot less now.
she's got a market in the UK. She's going on tour. She can't upset that market. That's it.
yeah,
Bro,
so-
that's
really what it comes
even
down
if
to.
she upset,
Though?
still pull up to the show, nigga.
that's what I'm saying. Are they really
Nigga,
upset?
it's Beyonce, bro.
Facts.
I think that's what the world we're in. Like, you're upset for a little bit. It makes you feel a certain way, but that's good.
Ooh,
I don't think it's
That
stopping
lets you
people
know
from
that you're
consuming
feeling
it, bro.
something. Exactly. That
They
lets you
just
know that
want to
you're
let
alive.
her know that's how they
Fact,
felt
they're
about
like,
something
yes.
that she put out.
And you're
you feel me?
entitled to that, and then she's also entitled to not give a fuck.
I think that's the thing.
Like,
is that
Would
for
you
me,
knock her for not giving a fuck if she heard all the complaints and then she still was like, hell no, I'm not
No,
changing.
I
Depends on how
actually,
she goes about
I
it.
actually
Yeah,
commend her
facts.
for it. I actually commend her for it because she can make
For
plenty of
editing
people.
it out.
No, for not
not-
giving a
if she
fuck.
didn't
Because
care.
like when an artist's painting goes up in a museum, once the museum decides to like display that, if it has something that's making visitors feel a certain way, the museum, first of all, speaks with the artist before even making the decision. And in some cases, they don't. They don't even care about what their members or visitors think. That's the piece they chose. They know choosing the piece and
I
putting
feel
it up
like
on
you
their
gotta
wall.
Pick battles, bro.
Yeah,
to me,
like-
to me, it's like when I hear it, it's like I think it would make a difference the way she goes about it, right? Like for example, right? Say I listen to a white rapper and a nigga just wilding, saying the N-word every song, and I'm just like, bro, like you're not black, but the song's hard. Like what if Yeet next song he dropped, nigga, he just says that shit. Niggas, like I'm sure that the majority of the black people that listen to Yeet are still gonna fuck with Yeet. They're just gonna be like, you shouldn't have been saying that. I'm not gonna lie. That was a little, you're a white man. You don't say that shit. And then the nigga doesn't edit it out, all the shit, doesn't
Yo,
apologize,
imagine he
nothing.
edits it
And he
out, but
just-
like, but he just blinks it. It's not
But
a
either way,
word. Like you
he
know,
can't
he's
edit it
still
out.
like.
I'm
He
saying
can't edit
is,
it out because it's
then
gonna
the
feel
next-
like a ploy. Like it'll seem like
That's
some
still
type of
disrespectful.
I'm
ploy.
saying,
Yeah.
say he doesn't do anything, right? He doesn't even mention it. He just keeps it pushing, and then maybe he doesn't say it in the song, but he still perform that song live. All this shit, you feel me? I think what it's breeding then is like that's disrespectful. Now you're like ODing it, and I think it's the same thing with Beyonce. It's like she could have left it in, but then when she performed it, just not said it.
I
Said
see what
something
you're
different.
saying,
Something,
but-
you know what
it's
I mean?
about how you go moving forward because it's
You feel
kind of
me?
like
'Cause,
how
like, you made your
Nav used to
mistake.
say. Nav used to say nigga, and then niggas called him
but
out,
you-
and he stopped doing that.
Quiet.
It's
But
like,
think
it's
about
not
the
like
word
he
that you guys
deleted
are
all his
using.
music with it in it, but it's like, all right, moving forward, I'm not gonna do that.
But think about the word y'all use. I feel like the N word is a little bit more touchy than a word
So,
like
even on
Spazz.
that,
Why
look
it
at-
should be looked at the same because it's obviously a community that feels a certain way.
Yeah.
I think the overall point is like art is supposed to make you feel something. Music is supposed to make you feel something. That community of people now feel something that lets them know that they can feel like.
So
I don't know.
when
I
I
feel
was
like at
when
the
I
end
was
of the
hearing
day-
this situation, I thought to myself, like the first thing that came to my mind was, all right, why? Okay, I wish that people paid attention to context a little bit more. All right, not throwing red flags the moment that they hear a word, but how the word is being used and what's the intention
The
behind it.
context,
Because
yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are ignoring that in order to be easily offended. But then the counter argument that I couldn't, in my head, like this debate I'm going back and forth with, I couldn't say anything to or give a proper reasoning back is if that's how the community feels, how are you gonna tell a community how they should feel about a specific
It's not
word,
just a community either. It's a marginalized community.
But
I
I
mean,
think
that you're not a part of.
that you're not a part of?
So,
It's like
so you're saying it's like it's our job, our duty as citizens to like acknowledge like that it's hurting, and we have to like. Be
well, I mean,
some
look
type
at the
of-
example that he
Yeah.
brought up with Yeet,
like,
bro.
moving
If
forward.
it doesn't matter how Yeet uses the N word, bro. Like regardless, that
You're not black, bro.
You're not black. Don't tell us
That's
how to
not
feel
something
about
that
the
you
word.
should be
So it's
saying.
like,
Kinda like,
if we're gonna
but we're not
stand on that
telling you-
principle, then the principle has to
applies. It's
stand
universal.
on
It's not just for
universal.
black people.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We're not, but overall, we're not speaking to the fact of whether or not she, like, if it's an issue. I was more speaking to the fact that she doesn't have to care that it's an issue, because that was the overall point. And I just said,
Sure, you don't
when you
have to
bring the
care.
N-word to the conversation, it makes it a little gray, because while they both are, we're a marginalized community that uses the N-word to, you know, kind of as a term of endearment. However, we don't get up in age.
Is it a
and
term
we
of endearment?
It's used as
It's
that's
just a
kind of what
term.
it,
It's just a term.
It's kinda-
in the
I have a-
21st century.
I
It
have
changed
a
to
more
that.
personal
Like,
experience with. It's like I had a line where I was like, can't trust if you not my man, because I know these niggas switch like they trans, and like people have expressed like how they felt about that line type shit. So then moving forward, I was like, yeah, because I didn't think about it like that, in a sense where it's like they said it's a transition, so it's like not really like a switch or some shit. So it's like me moving forward, it's like, all right, I have more knowledge about that now. But I'm not gonna go delete my song, nigga.
Yeah,
Because it's about accountability.
Even like-
sounding racist, like it's basically being like, I don't have to be held accountable for this, and being like, I just don't like. Now it's just like it won't happen again, but also it didn't happen at all.
Okay, what about
That's
a
not
song
true.
that hasn't dropped yet? I remember when niggas would Burn It Down, the intro to Methodist Life, right? There's a specific line that I didn't like. I said originally,
not even
but
that
even
bad,
like
bro.
later, I felt uncomfortable with it. It was like, you were broke. No. Jealousy. What's it called?
Like jealousy's a bitch, and that's a trait just for,
For
the
the female.
females.
Yeah. And that was kind of a play on the Jay shit that he said on Heart of the City.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of doing. But then when people were listening, so I remember, like, especially with the women in the room,
pretty bad.
getting side looks like, what does
That is
that,
pretty
what does that
horrible,
mean?
bro.
You feel
No
me?
bullshit.
And I remember feeling
It's
uncomfortable.
not the
with
worst
that.
thing I've heard.
No, it's not the worst. Yeah, for sure. And then like asking my friends, like, yo, what do y'all think about that? And them saying, nah, keep it. That's what you said. That's what, stand on it.
But the thing hadn't dropped yet, though.
And it didn't drop yet.
Oh yeah,
So
he
I want-
folded.
I
You
should have
could've
changed
changed
it.
it. You could've changed it.
you know what I think it'd
could've.
be a lot of times is delivery, because the reason that community is upset is because of how that word was delivered, and because
But the way she's saying it is like when you say, especially
she said it
how
back to
is it-
back
how
3
is it-
times hard, like she said it like she
But
like
she's saying
meant
like
it.
to go crazy, and like I'm about to go crazy.
But yeah, even if she, I feel like even if she only said it once and still meant the same thing, it would have went over a lot of people's head. She said it like she.
You think she was trying, especially with?
She was trying to emphasize it
She's
was
not
on, like, that
blind
part
to
of the
what happened to
song.
Lizzo, so she's seen what happened to Lizzo, and it was like,
But she's
What was
thinking
the
she's
word that Lizzo
Beyonce.
said?
She's thinking.
Spazz, the same
I
word.
think that's the same shit we was talking about with Kendrick too, bro.
Yeah,
It's
she's
like, nigga,
Beyonce. She
you
thinks
coulda
she's
got
above
away. Like, you
critique.
could have said it once and got your point across,
Across,
nigga.
yeah.
Why you say something?
Why you doubling it down?
Why you
4
saying it
times?
so
But that's
many
why I asked you,
times?
as someone who writes songs, do you think that the delivery at that point was on like a producer call? Like, nah, we need to say it like this for it to really stick. Like,
I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, I'm always interested. Like your delivery is with regards to your intention the same as your writing. You feel me? How you say stuff is just as important as what you're saying. You know what I mean? So I think it's on both ends. It can't just be
Okay.
like one thing or the other. It has to be like a combination of both. You don't have to say it with such, you know, velocity, you know what I mean? But it's also like that's important for your song. And if that's gonna be the case, then it's like maybe change the lyrics then. If you're gonna still say it with this level of
Yeah.
intensity, shift the lyrics so that it's not
I
offensive.
really don't know what else could have went there though.
Maybe
to be
Snap.
honest. Nah,
And I ain't even hear the song.
Nah. It wasn't.
Perhaps. Change your line, bro. Niggas, you're lazy,
So
bro.
context doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't think that it doesn't matter. I think that it's irrelevant when you're talking about people's feelings. Because at the end of the day, it's like we were talking
But
about before,
everybody
bro.
got
How
feelings,
dare you?
bro.
How dare you, Roberto? How dare you make a clip?
Everybody
How
got
dare you make a very
feelings.
specific clip in that episode with you, Key and Eve's talking about that, talking about how it's important that you
Yes,
recognize the
your
way that people feel about what you're
intention,
saying and what you're doing. It doesn't matter. If someone smacks me and they be like, "Oh, there was the bug on your face," but like, nigga, you still just smacked the shit out of me, bro. That shit hurt. What the
Yes.
fuck? Of course I'm upset.
And-
They're like,
and
but
I
I was
feel
trying
like-
to save
and
you.
I feel
Nigga,
like-
say something then. Why did you go about it differently?
That applies.
Feel me?
That applies. That's true, and I stand on that. But that applies for me personally to sensible people. I feel like there's certain people, bro. It's like I will never be able to please you, and therefore
It is what
you're
it is.
you're annoying. You're annoying. You're trying to. You're going out of your way to be offended, and
That's
I'm not saying everybody.
Nah, I feel you. I don't even think
but
that's...
there's certain people, it's like...
And I agree with you. I think that's correct. I feel like that's not only correct, but I feel like that's the most justifiable reason to continue doing something. You feel me? Because like some people are very unreasonable with everything, and that's not fair to the people that are creating or consuming whatever to be like shit
now
that's
that's
just
impeding
constantly
on
shifting.
me.
Exactly. And I think like for me as an artist, the way I look at it is like I'm gonna do my best to make sure that I'm honoring my own values. You feel me? The values that I uphold. You feel me?
I don't feel true to myself if I'm
Exactly.
always like my principles and my morals are always shifting to like
other people, whoever's listening. I think that's why it's important what Tomo was saying also, because when you do make that shift and we are like being sure that we're intentional with our words and like because of our values being upheld, that's like sometimes your values will shift. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that your values weren't the way that they were when you said what you said. So you can't keep going around like changing shit, making it seem like you never were that person because you were. You feel me? Like that's part of growth and that's part of development, is that you were who you were and you are who you are now. You know what I mean? But you weren't here without that. You weren't here without who you were. You feel me? Stop trying to change the past and move forward in the present and make that shit work. You feel me? Niggas is like that's the issue that I have with the Beyonce shit. And like, you know what I mean? Because I don't think you should be saying shit like that regardless, whatever. But it's like you maybe you didn't know. You know what I mean? Or maybe you like whatever. Like changing it now just shows that you don't want to be held accountable. You feel me? And that to me is upsetting.